It is episode 92 of the Say Hey podcast, part of the Believe Podcast Network. I'm Doug Hayes, aka Say Hey Doug. It is December 20th, 2022. Rob, we're 5 days away from Christmas. I believe we're in the second day of Hanukkah. It's the holidays, my bro.
It's the holidays, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas to everybody out there, or Happy Hanukkah, or
Gotta be inclusive, man.
yeah, it's everybody out there. Kwanzaa's coming, so that's
Yeah.
that's exciting if you celebrate that too. But quite frankly, Doug, I'm not happy this morning. I've had a rough couple of days. My Dallas Cowboys blew a 17-point lead on Sunday to like the worst franchise in football history, besides the Cleveland Browns. So, okay, that sucks. Then last night, for the first time in like probably 20 years, our Sacramento Kings were a 10-point favorite against another NBA team, not a junior high team or a church league team. No, they were a 10-point favorite against an actual NBA team. They lose outright on their home court. Doug, you were there.
I was there.
Yeah, I know you had nothing to do with it, but we'll talk about that later. So this morning, I wiped the slate clean. I was feeling nice, going through my morning routine, doing the things that I do. And because Carlos Correa is getting announced, press conference, the whole parade, the whole extravaganza for him today. I guess not. It gets postponed, canceled for unknown reasons. And I wouldn't worry about it, but this is the Giants. If anybody could fuck this up, it would be the Giants. So I'm on a downward spiral these last couple of days. I need something good to happen, and I need it to happen like right now.
Let's come up with some of our best conspiracies here as to why Carlos Correa's press conference was postponed. Okay, number one, like realistically, we're hearing that test whatever physical. We don't know what kind of test, not passed yet or whatever. I'm sure that'll all come to fruition, but we got to come up with some fun stuff, right? I want to hear yours first. What do you got?
Well, first of all, he might have sobered up. I mean, I think he's been getting down for a week, signing that contract, and then he came to realize, oh my God, I'm going to play for the Giants. Oh, wait, hold on, timeout. He
did I sign anything?
Yeah, wait, did I actually sign? I don't know about this. He probably called Scott Boras and said, was every other team out on me? Was it just down to the Giants? So that could be it. He's probably having second thoughts. I put out this tweet earlier. I was just being funny, but it could be true. Maybe he wants to move his press conference to Christmas because he's supposed to be our Lord and Savior. So maybe it's an ego thing. And, if I was getting paid $350 million over 13, 14 years, yeah, I'd be feeling pretty good about myself too. I'd be feeling like everybody's Lord and Savior. So that's just a couple, or maybe he just doesn't know how to read and write, and he's going over the fine print right now, or somebody's doing it for him. I mean, some of that stuff takes a while, but as far as the testing goes, yeah, I mean, he's 28 years old. I mean, unless he's tested positive for PEDs, I don't know what that could be about. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, okay, we've seen a lot of panic on Twitter this morning, which is kind of comical. But it's like, he's gonna be fine. He's gonna be a Giant. It's just funny seeing all these people panic. Whatever. But you're right though. What you said a couple minutes ago, it really doesn't get more San Francisco Giants than this. It's true.
Yeah, we are very jaded. This is probably the biggest press conference since. Introducing a player since Bonds, and the most recent for a big acquisition since like Johnny Cueto or Aaron Rowand or Barry Zito. I mean, those have been the Giants' big offseason acquisitions. So yeah, I can. That's not a lot to brag about. So I can understand why fans are a little hesitant and scratching their head, going, "What the fuck's going on this morning?" Because today was a coronation. It was supposed to be a wonderful day, and the opening up a door to a new beginning. We're putting behind the Buster Posey, Brandon Belt era, and Bruce Bochy era, and opening the door to Carlos Correa and whoever else is coming. And now we gotta wait until God knows when.
I'm sure things are gonna be okay, my friend. It's all right. But I am still pissed. I am still pissed about the Giants or the Kings last night. I'm with you on that.
That was dirty.
Coming off of the Charlotte Hornets played, on freaking Sunday. They're down one of their best scorers in Terry Rozier. What did they do? They come out and they beat the Kings on the home court. Man, it felt so 2017-ish. I don't know. It was
literally what, every year since 2006? Yeah.
So frustrating times for Kings fans, but we'll be okay. We're still above 500, which is all we can ask for in these last 2 decades. Anyways, speaking about Carlos Correa, I know we came off our last episode where, in case you've been under a rock, we're talking about Ross Stripling and Sean Manaea getting announced to the Giants, and obviously they're not big name superstars coming to San Francisco, but with about 5 minutes left or whatever, that's when the Correa news broke, and that was a fun ending. So if you haven't seen that or listened to that, make sure you go back and listen to episode 91, where you can listen to our live reaction of Carlos Correa signing with the Giants. But we didn't get to go into too much depth about Carlos Correa's impact that he's going to have with the Giants. Obviously, he's going to be here for 13 years. He's getting $350 million. It was announced at the end of last week, or it was put out there that it's, sounded like Brandon Crawford, who's been the Giants' really, really good shortstop all these years, the past decade. He's going to be moving over to third, and that's going to be with Correa at short. Just initial thoughts, Rob, on what you think, not really in regards to Crawford at short, or I'm sorry, Correa at short, but Crawford moving over to third. What are you expecting from 35?
I'm expecting more Gold Glove caliber play. I mean, the range wasn't there as much last year. He still had his Brandon Crawford highlight plays over at shortstop, but the errors really picked up. There were, even the ones that don't really count as errors, but the plays that we have come to expect Brandon Crawford to make, he wasn't making those last year. So I'm thinking the change is probably, maybe a good thing. You're going to shorten up your range a little bit. You get a younger, Gold Glove caliber shortstop in Correa over there. So I expect things to be better, from the revolving door of Wilmer Flores, JD Davis, Evan Longoria, David VR, Jason Vossler. I mean, goddamn, the list goes on and on. The guys the Giants played at third base last year, and none were particularly good. So, I mean, Longoria still plays defense at a high level, but he misses half the games, so that didn't really help. So I expect Crawford to make the adjustment pretty fluidly, and he's a pro, and I'm sure. We speculate about shit like this, but I'm sure it was discussed with him before they allegedly signed Carlos Correa to a 13-year contract. So, yeah, it'll be interesting in spring training. I've probably a lot more reps over there, for him. Considering Doug, has he played one inning in his career at third base?
I don't think he's played one out anywhere else besides shortstop in his career. I mean, I looked that up, but I don't think so at all.
Yeah. I was trying to think off the top of my head, maybe in 12 when he got called up, or 11, whenever that was. No, I don't think so. But no, I expect him to make it pretty easily, and just to get some stability there. We don't want that revolving door again this year over at third.
Yeah, confirmed. He has never ever played anything besides shortstop. In regards to Brandon Crawford, but I'm with you. I think that, first of all, I think shortstop, outside of pick your poison pitcher, catcher, outside of that, shortstop's the most difficult position in the game. I mean, there's so much that you're involved in. You're kind of the leader of the infield. You're kind of the leader of the field actually out there. You're the one calling shots to the outfield, and you got to have the best range. You got to have arguably the best arm, and you got to be smart. You got to know what you're doing. I think that, I've been telling people this week, I understand from the competitive perspective about Crawford. I get it. It's probably a little deep down frustrating. We may never see it from him because he's a pro's pro and whatever, but him moving to third, I think it's going to be great. I think he could be fantastic there. Obviously, he's going to be working the next couple months on getting a lot of reps there. Oh, totally with you on the reason why. I know that last year he again, yes, he showed a lot of good things at shortstop like he has through the years. He's been one of the better defensive shortstops in the game for a decade now. Had some signs last year that maybe he's starting to slow up a little bit, but at third base, you don't have to cover as much ground as you do at shortstop. And there's no denying his intelligence on the field. He's going to know what to do with, like, I guarantee you he's going to do a lot of like some sort of deke on the corner over there and get a guy off the bag and tag him out. Like, that's going to happen because he's so smart. And his arm still very well plays at a high level. Like, Brandon Crawford's got a rocket still. So, combining him at third with Carlos Correa at short, who is very good, 2021 Gold Glove. This could be arguably the best left side of the infield in baseball, at least the National League.
Yeah, I think so too. And it's going to be very important too, because the Giants have made it a point basically to put it out there that literally anybody can play first base. So they're going to need a lot of clean play, clean throws over there from the left side. Because
that's a great point.
Because if you're going to have JD Davis, Wilmer Flores, Lamont Wade, I mean, literally anybody on the roster, I think they'd be down to throw over there at some point over at first. You're going to need some pretty clean play over there on the left side of the infield. So I think it's a good idea that it's the route I would go if I'm Farhan. I don't think you can find a better third baseman, defensively on the market right now. I mean, Evan Longoria is probably the top third baseman on the market currently. And, we know he only plays half the time. So yeah. Moving Crawford over there, and maybe also it keeps him a little more healthy, not having to move around as much and, so much range and diving all the time, because Crawford believes he can make every play.
Sure.
But I think the reps in spring training with Correa over there, I think, that's going to be really, really important just to kind of get that chemistry down. But I think once they do, it's going to make the Giants infield so much better than it was a year ago, because it fucking sucked last year.
You make a great point that I haven't even taken into consideration about the quality of throws coming from third base. And trust me, like this isn't a knock on Evan Longoria, because defensively, when Longoria was out there, he was still pretty darn good the last couple of years, but he has missed a lot of time. And then you have other guys over there that, aren't playing quality third base, but
Average.
Crawford, you're going to get good throws, especially with the instability that we may see over at first base right now, unless the Giants bring in someone or whatever. But yeah, you're getting Davis, Wade Jr., Flores over there, who may not be able to, pick or move as quickly for errant throws. And so Crawford may address that issue on his own and take care of some of the load defensively at first base while playing third base. Now, that's a great point. I haven't even thought about that. But also talking about the amount of games he's going to play. Now, I truly think that Crawford could be, mostly a platoon. I mean, they have other options that can play third base. You have a right-handed bat in JD Davis. You have a right-handed bat in Wilmer Flores, even though he probably won't be over there much. But JD Davis could very well play a significant amount of games over there if there's a lefty on the mound. I think in a perfect world, if Brandon Crawford's healthy for this year, 100, 110 games, get him, just get good quality stuff from him and keep him fresh out the air. And if the Giants sneak into the playoffs, then you have a good Brandon Crawford that, you're not really worried about, especially defensively. So yeah, I think that's very much a possibility too, where this kind of gives him an option to not have to be out there every single day. Plus, this very well could be, and probably is, his last year in a Giants uniform, whether he decides to retire and hang him up or go get maybe a 1-year deal after this year. He's probably going to want to go out and play good baseball. So, yeah, I think overall this is a win-win for everybody. Again, kind of going back to my first point, he may not be super stoked about it. He's a shortstop. He's going to always be a shortstop. There's nobody's taking that away from Brandon Crawford, and he knows that. But yeah, is this probably what's best for the team with what else is around there right now on the team and in free agency? Absolutely. I think Brandon Crawford could be maybe not an all-star or Gold Glove third baseman, but a damn good one.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think the one guy to look out for in this whole situation is David VR. Like, what is the
True.
plan? What's the plan going to be with him? Because the way he ended, last year, he showed a lot of flashes and a lot of signs, and hell, he's actually young. The Giants don't have a lot of young players that are showing promise, and besides him and Joey Bart, so yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they want to do with him. Whether I think it's too early in his career to like kind of put him in that right-handed DH slot. Like you want to at least give him an opportunity to showcase his abilities in the field to see what you got there. Because like we just said, this is probably going to be Crawford's last year as a Giant. JD, it's going to be the last year of JD Davis's contract, so we don't know what his future holds after next year. So and Wilmer Flores is, they just re-signed him, but Wilmer Flores has been around he's been around a while too. I mean, he's not the third baseman. He's not the anything of the future. He's just the right now. So I'm going to be interested to see how David VR kind of factors into that third base, first base kind of scenario, because the way he ended the year, it's going to be hard to keep him off the field too much.
Yeah, and I want to see David VR get a fair shot. I don't think he's a superstar by any means, but I think that he could be a very important piece. If he turns out to be kind of like the Tyro Estrada kind of impact on this team, then that's solid. And we love Tyro Estrada, but if David VR can come in and actually, he plays first base too. He's younger than most of those other options. Probably can move around a little better. So he did appear in 11 games at first last year. So could see VR over there as well. That way to keep his bat in the lineup, especially if we're going to see a lot of Jock Peterson at DH, Wilmer Flores at DH. There are definitely a lot of options, but in regards of Crawford moving to third, I think you and I are pretty optimistic that this is going to be okay for sure.
It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting.
Yeah. We didn't have a ton. There's hasn't been a ton going on since the Giants announced that Correa will be going to the Giants. Obviously, we touched on his postponed press conference this morning, which who knows when that'll happen. But all jokes aside, he's going to be a Giant. We're ecstatic about that. But kind of just a little fun thing we wanted to wrap up here. It's going to be a short episode. All I want for Christmas, just a little something fun, because this may be the last. This may be our last episode of the year. We haven't decided yet. If something else breaks, of course, in the next week or so, we will definitely be on here. But if nothing really big happens over the next week and a half or so, this could be the last show for 2022. So, kind of wanted to get this in. In regards to the Giants, Rob, all I want for Christmas, is there anything else that you could add this offseason that you would want the Giants to do?
I just want Donnie Walton and Jason Vossler to make the opening day roster. No, I'm just kidding.
Good God.
Yeah, wait, you know what? We didn't even talk about the revolving door at shortstop last year when Crawford was hurt. So let's not get into that.
Can we go back and say though this too? God forbid something happens to Carlos Correa or he needs a day, whatever. We have good old 35 that can fill in at shortstop.
Yeah, right? Yeah, and not Donovan Walton or Jason Vossler or Dixon Machado. So, but no, you know what? All I have for Christmas as a Giants fan at this point, I want Taylor Rogers. I've been kind of sitting on that, and
Taylor Rogers.
People are they like hammering home him and Tyler Rogers, being twin brothers and shit, and like how cool that would be, how fitting it would be. No, the Giants just need a badass lefty in the bullpen and get guys out. I don't care who it is. It could be me, but that ain't gonna happen. So the Giants, they need somebody on the back end besides Camilo Duvall who can get outs, because if not, they are going to run Camilo Duvall into the ground again this coming year. He can't be having no 6-out saves. Jake McGee didn't work out last year. Dominic Leone didn't work out. John Brebbia got relegated to being a damn opener. Like, they need some help in the back end of that bullpen. So for Christmas, I want to wake up and Taylor Rogers, and I mean Tyler Rogers going to be there too, but Taylor Rogers be under the tree.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm with you. Giants could really use one or two more bullpen pieces to help out Duvall in the back. Don't want him overused. And of course, like you bring up John Brebbia, I'm hoping with these additions to the starting rotation/rotation depth that we can actually see Brebbia just do what he's supposed to do, and that's relieve in games.
Yeah.
And in big opportunities, because I think he's good at it. So you went the bullpen route. all I want for Christmas, I'll go for the right-handed outfield bat, and I'll get specific, and I don't care if y'all like it or not. I've been kind of touching about this for a while. Like, I want an Adam Duvall reunion, man, and I think that he can come in and just platoon and be a part-time guy, but he still has solid power. I mean, appeared in only 86 games this last year with the Braves, 12 home runs, 36 RBIs. You know, not fantastic numbers this last year, but was banged up. His last full year in 2021, he played in 146 games. He had 38 home runs and 113 RBIs. I mean, we're just over a year removed from that season.
Right.
So if you think that Adam Duvall, who's 33, I know he's kind of in those tweener years for, contract leverage. But if they could bring him in and Farhan could throw in one of his famous options for year 2, maybe incentive based, why not bring in Adam Duvall, who's actually he's not god awful defensively. He can play all 3 positions in the outfield, which the Giants love versatility. He provides that. And he could DH for you if you want against a lefty or something if Jock's not in the lineup. And pinch hit late in games if they need him to. So Adam and Duvall, I think that if all I want for Christmas is, it's not a huge ask, but bring back Adam Duvall.
Yeah, it's not a huge ask, and there's a lot of comparisons you can take with him and like Mitch Haniger. They both had big 2021 seasons. Both got hurt. Both got hurt last year. I mean, there's not a lot of difference between the two guys. Haniger's been doing it at a more consistent level for a longer time. But Adam Duvall just kind of had to find his place in the league, and at least in Atlanta, they were able to utilize him in the right way. I mean, no disrespect to the Mike Leake trade. I don't know if he's listening back in the day. Yeah, I don't know if Mr. Mike Leake is listening to the Say Hey podcast, but yeah, I think get rid of Adam Duvall, kind of stung the Giants for a while because they generated basically no power out of their minor league system, after him. It's been a long time. So I would take that for sure.
Yeah. And they could really use another right-handed hitting outfielder because outside of Mitch Haniger and, your occasional Austin Slater, who's a part-time guy, they don't have anybody. Everybody else is left-handed. Jock, Yastrzemski, Wade. So, yeah, we'll see. I think that's a fair ask, and it's not asking for too much. So, last one before we wrap up here. New year, new goals. Now, what I mean by this is obviously we hope that there's more moves to be made to this current roster. But, if this was the roster moving forward, trust me, we're not doing predictions and all that. That is months away. But if this was the roster moving into 2023, what would the goal be for 2023, Rob? Realistically, because I have mine.
Okay, if nothing changed, it would be to probably get the last wild card spot. 85 wins.
That's fair.
As of right now, I'm optimistic. Like you said, all jokes aside about Correa not showing up today for whatever reason. No, the Giants going out and getting Correa really kind of restored my faith, and I think a lot of fans' faith in what the Giants are trying to do. So I believe it's going to get better. But as of right now, yeah, best case scenario, I think they're an 85 win team as of right now. But I think it'll get better.
Yeah, I agree. I think that last playoff spot. Here's the thing. They're still significantly behind, at least on paper, Los Angeles and San Diego. Those two teams are going to rule the West probably for the foreseeable future, like they have. Especially the Dodgers, Padres, really came on this last year, obviously. But those teams are ultra aggressive. They're going to spend their money, and that's going to be the NL West. But yeah, I see 85 to 87 wins as of right now, and just get in the wild card, just get in the tournament. And if this rotation is on, you can argue that health aside, injuries aside, whatever, if the Giants with the current rotation that they have is healthy and at the top of their game, they're right there with the Dodgers, I think, in regards of, because the Dodgers guys get injured too. Walker Buehler, we don't know. They're bringing back Clayton Kershaw for his 15th year. Julio Urias is pretty solid, but other than that, it's Dustin May has to be healthy.
Noah Syndergaard.
Noah Syndergaard's there now. You're right, and then the Padres rotation is really a big wild card. I mean, you get Darvish and Blake Snell, who will go through their bad spells. I mean, it happens. Joe Musgrove's really good, but outside of that, who knows? But yeah, I mean, this is probably a third place team with Arizona coming up on the heels, though. I think the Diamondbacks are young and they're getting better. They're not awful. So yeah, we'll see. See if they can bring in anybody else over the next couple weeks.
And something else to look out for. I know we just talked about David Villar a little bit ago too, but he is a prime trade candidate right now too, because with the logjam they kind of have at the corners right now, and with him having youth on his side, and the Giants have been rumored in the trade market recently to acquire another right-handed outfielder if they don't sign one. That's a name to look out for on the trade market. So
him or Slater, team control, more young athletic guys, and a guy like VR definitely, shows some value that he could be valuable to other teams. So I like David VR, but nobody's out of the realm of getting moved. If you're going to make the team better, you're available.
Yep.
So just my thought on that. Hey, appreciate you guys joining us again today. I know it's a shorter episode, but wanted to get this one in. Like I said earlier, if something happens over the next week and a half or so, we'll jump on here, throw out another episode. But if not, probably could be our last episode of the year. So we want to thank everybody for their support. And we'll see you in 2023. Hopefully it's a big year for the Giants. If you want to go back and listen to our other episodes, you can get our whole catalog of shows at believe.com or wherever you get your podcasts. So for Say Hey Doug and Say Hey Rob, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, all that good stuff. Go Giants.
Go Giants.
Say hey, say who, say Willie, say hey, say who, swinging at the plate, say hey.